America, land of the free and home of the brave. If you ask people, what is America? They're probably going to tell you about all of the big cities. They're going to tell you about Los Angeles, and they're going to tell you about Washington, D.C., and they're going to tell you about New York City. But is that really America? America is really the 44 million people that live in the rural communities. These communities are safe, neighbors know each other, and people get together on the weekends. However, despite all of these great things, there are challenges of living in these communities. These communities often don't have access to the electrical grids that allow them to have inexpensive electricity in their homes. What this means is that when they want to go cook a delicious home-cooked meal, they rely on alternative fuels for cooking, something like propane, which is dangerous for their family. Now, there is a solution to this problem. The Solar Cuisenaire is that solution delivered. This technology allows people to capture electricity and store it for use around the clock. They can cook their favorite meals without even having to add water to that preparation cycle. They can put their favorite items into little bags, and those bags are then inserted into the machine so the meal can be prepared with no additional work. Ladies and gentlemen, this is far superior to anything on the market today. Today, the solar cookers that are available are bulky, they're difficult to set up, they're difficult to cook with. This is not something that most people will be able to use in their home. The Solar Cuisenaire will solve all these problems. With your help, we can deliver this new technology to the rural Americans that need it the most. Thank you, and let's take a look at some further details.
In front of you is the first generation prototype of the Solar Cuisenaire. You may have noticed size-wise, this device is comparable to your standard microwave oven. However, that is where the similarities end. Our device is made in America by a veteran-owned company. This allows us to tap into the patriotism of those living in rural communities. Our device is 100% solar powered. That means you never have to plug the device in. Not only that, but our device has a rechargeable battery backup. Unlike our competitors, we're able to allow a family to cook their favorite meals any time of the day, anywhere that they are located. Not only that, but we have our terrific insertable food baggies. Instead of using pots or pans, you can place your favorite food items into one of our baggies and place the baggie inside the device to cook. You don't even have to add water. Our moisture drawing device will add water from the moisture in the air to your food while it cooks. Altogether, your family can have a delicious meal that is prepared safely and, most importantly, cuts down on the high cost of electricity or having to use propane, which is dangerous for your family. Now on the screen in front of you, you see our competition. Clearly, there is a big technology gap between our devices. These devices are bulky and only work in direct sunlight since they simply reflect the sunlight in order to cook food. In 2014, Dr. Pia Otte of the Norwegian University of Science and Technology conducted a study to look at why communities accept solar cooking when others do not. She found 4 primary conditions that are vital to the successful adaptation of these solar cookers. She mentioned, number 1, that there has to be a high level of economic motivation. In other words, the cost of the solar cooker has to be lower than the alternatives, which in our particular case in rural America is the high cost of electricity or the less expensive but often dangerous use of propane. Number 2, there has to be a high level of environmental motivation. In other words, people have to want to use the solar technology in order to protect their environment. Number 3, there has to be a high compatibility with local food characteristics. The food has to look, taste, and smell like the food that people would normally prefer within that community. And number 4, there has to be high compatibility with schedule of daily routine. This is, I think, one of the main keys to our device. The current solar cookers require direct sunlight. So in the evening time, when none is available, you can't use it. Our device, because of the battery backup, you can use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So our device is able to meet the needs of the individuals that live in rural communities and check off every one of these boxes. In this slide, you will really see how we came to our target market. Now, the focus of the first generation Solar Cuisenaire has been on rural America. We had mentioned before that there are about 44 to 45 million individuals that live in these non-metro communities. However, we wanted to hone in that focus just a little bit. So we looked at those in rural communities that use fossil fuels, typically propane, on an everyday basis. There is a growing awareness of the negative effects of the use of these fuels in the home. So these individuals account for about 8.1 million households, according to the U.S. Department of Energy. But we took it one step further. We knew that economic motivation had to play a key role in this equation. So we focused on middle-income families. These are individuals, unlike wealthy individuals, these families can't necessarily afford to use as much electricity as they want. However, they do have the buying power in order to be able to purchase a device that's roughly $500 in the marketplace. For our first generation Solar Cuisenaire, we plan to use a selective distribution strategy. What this means is that Tractor Supply will have exclusive rights to retail our product for that first generation. TSC is already in our space. They specialize in products that reach our targeted segments. Besides that, they have a strong brand image, which lends credibility to a new product like ours. Because they offer variety for customers, they will have a strong advertising and promotional system already in place. TSG shoppers are more willing to spend money for convenience items that are readily available and compatible with their daily routines. Now, we finally reached the slide you all have been waiting for, the financials. As you may notice, we are going to market at a price of $495 for our first generation Solar Cuisenaire. Now, this price is substantially higher than our competition is currently. However, our research shows that households in our target segment will be willing to pay over $500 for a superior appliance like this one due to its high value proposition. We decided to stay at the $495 price in order to facilitate a quicker market penetration. In order to accomplish this goal, we are manufacturing our device at a cost of $60 and wholesaling it for $247.50. This gives us a markup of 312%, but also the retailer a 100% markup on their product whenever they go to sell it. Now let's look at what this means for the bottom line. Assuming only a 10% market penetration, which is very conservative, we're estimating a gross profit of $151 million just in the first year of sales. By year 3, we would be looking at over $220 million. This means two things. Not only are we making money in the short term, but we're going to have the resources to be able to reinvest back into generations 2 and 3 of our product, which would expand the line not only from a cooker that's intended for the rural environment, but we can make a smaller version that would later fit the needs of urban communities. So altogether, we have both the pieces for the short-term success that we want to reach and our long-term goals. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing missing is your money. If you help us, you will be on the ground floor of a company that's going to take cooking to the next level.